Hey, 8th grade. So our learning target today is I can write an equation in slope-intercept form given 2 of the 3 parts. So page 21 for our work today. So what is slope-intercept form? Slope-intercept form, we have y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope, x and y are a data point. So it's just a pair x, y, and b is known as our y-intercept, or intersection point of the y-axis and the graph. So y equals mx plus b is known as slope-intercept form. You've been doing that for a long time, so you should be in pretty good shape with that. So what are our steps for writing in slope-intercept form? First thing that we're going to do is we're going to find the slope. Find the m, the slope. Everybody should be writing that down. Go ahead and write that down. Okay, after we find the slope, we're going to substitute the m and an xy point into the equation y equals mx plus b. So we're going to substitute in for m and then this xy pair, noticing that b is the thing that we won't have in this particular case. We won't have the b, so we'll substitute in for m, we'll substitute in for x and y, and then we'll solve using the hand method. We will solve for b. Now you're used to solving for y, but we're going to solve for b, or just any variable, but we're going to solve specifically for b in this equation. Okay guys, so then after we do that, we will have the m and we will have the b, and we'll just substitute back into the equation y equals mx plus b. Y is a stop sign, x is a stop sign, we substitute in for m and b. And step 5 is basically just to check it out and make sure that we're in good shape. Check equation. So that's what we have. So our 5 steps are listed above. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. So first thing that we're going to do is find the slope. So rise and run. Now if I'm going too fast, go ahead and pause that video. Rise and run. So here's my hotel room. Here's my best friend's hotel room. We say up and down on top, left and right on bottom. Up and down on top, left and right on bottom. So I drop all of my stuff off in the hotel room. I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3 floors. I go down 3, so my slope is -3 for the rise. I turn the corner and I run 1. So I have -3 over 1, which means my slope is -3, my m. Awesome. So that's step 1. Step 1 then says substitute into the equation. Before I do that, I'm going to set this up. That I know my m is -3. The b is unknown. I don't know what the b is. Here's the y-axis. It's going to hit somewhere down there, but it's unknown at the minute. So right now I'm going to just leave it an empty box. Data point. Well, I have 2 to choose from. So I'm going to pick one of the data points and plug it in. I'm going to choose this first one, x1, y1. So I'm going to plug in -3, 2 as my xy pair. So going back to the beginning, we're going to write the equation y equals mx plus b. We know the slope, and I'm picking one of the data points. The thing I don't know is this b value. So here we go. We are going to solve this for b. I'm going to plug in for y, m, and x. The y value right now is 2, so I'm going to put a 2 in for y. The slope up there is -3, so there's a -3 for slope. And I'm going to multiply that by the x value. The x value here is -3. I'm going to add b, and hand method's going to kick in. So I have 2 equals. We have a triangle problem, which is 9, plus b. My goal is to find b here. So we have solve for b. Take my hand, cover the variable b, get rid of the 9. Opposite of 9 is subtract 9, copy, paste. Working left to right. Working this problem down. 2 subtract 9 on the left-hand side. Go ahead and use your calculator if you're struggling on the integer work there. You might want to chop it, which is -7. If I haven't used it, I drag it down. The b value then is -7. So I just found the b value. I need the m, and I need the b to write the equation. So my equation would be y equals mx plus b. Y is a stop sign. X is a stop sign. So I would have y equals, my slope is -3, x, and my b is -7. Finally, I have an equation, y equals mx plus b. All those steps to get it. I started off finding the slope. I used the hand method to get the b, and then I plug back in. So I'm trying to find the m and the b was my goal, and then we should check it, but I don't want to confuse you in the video doing some more steps on checking, but we should always make sure that it makes sense before we move on. So there's our first example of how we write in y equals mx plus b. Moving on to example 2. Example 2, my y-intercept is here, but it's really hard to figure out what the y-intercept is. So we're going to go ahead and use this equation work. So here's my hotel room. This is my best friend's hotel room. Finding slope, up and down on top, left and right on bottom. We go to my hotel room first. We drop all my stuff off at my hotel room. And then we move to my friend's hotel room. So we're going to rise 1, 2. We're going to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to rise 2, run 5. So there's my slope, 2/5. So my slope then is 2/5. I need the m and I need a b to write the equation. The b is unknown because it hits right here, which is a really hard point to tell. So we're going to leave it an empty box right now. I have 2 data points to choose from. I can choose one of them for my equation. You can pick either one. I think I'll pick this one this time. So we have x, y. So my x, y pet data points are -2, 0. So we have an x and we have a y. My equation then that we work with is y equals mx plus b. My problem right now is I don't know this b value. So I'm going to solve for that to find it. So I'm borrowing x, borrowing y for just a second. And then I'm going to dump it. The y value is 0. The slope is 2/5. The x value is -2. I'm solving for b. Working left to right here, we have 0 on the left. On the right, we have -2/5 multiplied by -2. Go ahead and use your calculator on that if you want, or multiply the tops, which is -4. Multiply bottoms, which is 5. Take my hand and cover the variable b. I'm going to get rid of the -4/5 by doing the opposite, which is to add 4/5, copy paste. Copy paste. Working the problem left to right. We have 4/5 equals 0. Excuse me. Positive 4/5 equals b. So that was my goal. I wanted to find that b value. Whoops, up here. My equation then is y equals, come on 8th grade, stick with me, y equals mx plus b. Again, we have that y is a stop sign. X is a stop sign. Substitution is kicking in. So we have y equals the m value, the slope value was 2/5, rise and run. X is a stop sign. The b value was 4/5. There's my equation, y equals 2x, 2/5 x plus 4/5. That's example number 2. Okay, gang, hang with me. Top of the next page, example number 3. Same old thing over and over, just kind of a different twist every time. You're capable of doing this. Let's go. On the next page, we are looking for the slope here. So what we're going to do first is we're going to plot the data points. So we have the elevator analogy up 5 floors. So my hotel room is left 2 up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Elevator analogy here, down 1 floor. So we're going to go right 2 to find the elevator and down 1 floor. So we have this line here. If we were to connect the dots, we would want to know what is the y-intercept, where is it hitting? The dilemma is, can we tell where it hits specifically? Possibly we could. It appears that it's hitting at 2, but we're going to go ahead and prove that it is hitting at 2, that the b is equal to 2. So let's go ahead and give this a shot. So finding the slope, you could do it one of 2 ways. You can do it the equation y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, or you can rise run it. I'm going to rise run it. So here's my hotel room. I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually down 6. Sorry about that. Down 6. And then I'm going to turn and I'm going to run 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like my slope is down 6 over 4. Rise and run. In lowest terms, that becomes -3 over 2 is the slope. -3 over 2. I feel like the b value should be 2, but I'm going to prove it using my equation work. So I'm going to say right now that the b is unknown. I think it's 2, but I'm going to go ahead and confirm it using my equation work. I need one xy pair. So I have to pick one of these. I'll go ahead and take this first one, -2, 5, my hotel room. -2, 5. Using y equals mx plus b then. So we have y equals mx plus b. The thing that's unknown right now is the b. I think it's 2, but I have to prove it. So we're going to go ahead and borrow x, borrow y, plug in m, hand method solving for b. So my y value is 5. My slope is -3/2. My x value is -2 plus b. Cleaning this all up. 5 equals, working from left to right here, this becomes 6/2 plus b. Multiply the top of the fractions, multiply the bottom of the fractions. So we have 5 equals 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3 plus b. Hand method kicks in, so we're going to subtract 3, copy, paste. So we get 2 equals b. So our equation work then is y equals, it is that 2 we thought. So I'm going to go ahead and write it right here. Our final equation then, y equals mx plus b. We need m, we need b. Remember, y is a stop sign, x is a stop sign. So we say y equals, the m value was -3/2. X was a stop sign. The b value was +2, which I thought. There is my equation, y equals m, x plus b. That's your answer you should have for that box, example number 3. Now, if I'm going too fast, go ahead and stop the video. Otherwise, we're going to keep moving on to the next example. All right, for this next example, write a linear function that is the values of f of 4 equals 9 and f of -4 equals -7. So we still have this xy pair. My hotel room, best friend's hotel room, it's still working the same way. This is no different than saying 4, 9, and -4, -7, same old thing. Now to graph this, we're going to run out of space. So we're actually not going to graph this one. We could rescale it. We're just going to say, well, wait a minute. This 9 is going to run off the graph, so we're not going to graph it. You can if you want. You could scale up and down by 2s. But I'm going to skip the graph here, and I'm going to say, what is my slope? So I'm going to use my formula this time. That's why I'm not graphing it, just to give you a little different taste of it. So here's my x1, y1, and here's my x2, y2. So my y2 value is -7. My y1 value is 9. My x2 value is -4. And my x1 value is +4. So if we were to clean this up in the numerator, we said no. We stop, chop, chop, which is -16. We clean up the denominator. I stop, chop, chop, which is -8. Triangle problem says -16 divided by -8 is +2. +2. Now I don't know the y-intercept here. And my data point is x comma y. So I'm going to pick one of those. I'm going to take this 4, 9, I think. Just hanging out there. And let's go ahead and get this y equals mx plus b. Recognizing that the thing I'm trying to find right now is the b, but it's unknown. So that's what I'd have to solve for, the hand method. I borrow x, I borrow y, plug in m, hand method. My y value is 9. My slope in this problem was 2. My x value in this problem is 4. I'm going to be solving for b, hand method. Now I'm going too fast. Go ahead and pause that video. So we have 9 equals 8 plus b. Solving, we subtract 8, copy, paste. So we get 1 equals b. My equation, final answer would be y equals mx plus b. So what you're looking for, we found that b is 1. So my equation would be y, stop sign, equals the m. The slope was, what did we say the slope was? 2. X, stop sign, plus the b value is 1. There's my equation. Y equals 2x plus 1. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, hang in there, guys. You're doing a great job. I know we're already at 14 minutes in this video. We're almost there. The last 2 problems I would like to talk about is equations of horizontal and vertical lines. So let's go ahead and draw a horizontal line on the screen just to see what it looks like. So let's go ahead and draw a horizontal line right here. Go ahead and do that. Let you catch up. It's a flat horizontal line. So if we talk about the slope of that line, we would say that the slope of that line is 0. Slope is 0. Flat horizontal line. The y-intercept of that line is at 0, 1, 2. That's where those 2 lines intersect. The y-axis hits it right there at 2. So the b is 2. So a data point that I know for sure is this data point of 0, 2, where x is 0, y is 2. So my equation is y equals mx plus b. We're going to go ahead and say, well, what would happen if I write the equation? Well, I don't really have to solve anything because I have everything I need here, which is y equals 0, x plus 2. I plugged in for m, and I plugged in for b, y, and x for stop signs. Well, 0 times x really is just 0 plus 2. Anything times 0 is 0. So our equation is y equals 2, which looks a little funny, but the equation is y equals 2. Now here's the trick to that. You find the y value, it's up here at 2. This is where y is 2. This here is the equation, y equals 2, because it's hitting y at 2. So that's our equation. Kind of a fussy situation, but that's what we do for horizontal lines. So let's do another one real quickly in just case you're kind of stuck on that. So here's another example. Let's say we have this line down here at, way down here. Go ahead and draw that line. So what's going to happen in this problem is the same thing, but the slope will be 0, and it's hitting at -1, -2, -3. It's hitting the y-axis at -3 here. So the equation is y equals -3. So what happens if we switch it and we go to a vertical line? So let's go ahead and draw a vertical line right here. I think I'll change the color just so you can see it a little bit better. Go ahead and catch up there. What about a vertical line? Little different scenario. Well, a vertical line, the slope of this is actually undefined. We talked about how you would die if you fell down that, or dead, undefined, we talked about. That's the slope. Hard to plug a word into an equation. The y-intercept is the place where the graph crosses the y-axis. So here's my y-axis. Where do the purple and the green lines hit? Never. They're parallel. So where the y-intercept is just like, what? And we don't really know any data points. Or we have quite a few of them. So what's true about this line, though, is that the x hits right here when x is 1. So the equation of that line is just x equals 1. That's the only thing we can say for sure is happening everywhere on that line. The y value is changing, but the x is 1 everywhere. So let's try one over here. Let's go ahead and draw a line way over here. Everybody go ahead and draw that line. All right, so over here, this is x is, we have -1, here's 0, -2, -3, -4. What's true about that is that the x is -4 there. So that's x equals -4. That's it. That's our equation for that line, because what's true on that line everywhere up and down is that the x is -4. The y varies, but the x locks at -4 the whole way up and down that line. So what we've done today are, we've really dealt with y equals mx plus b. So keep in mind that there are 3 parts to this. We have y equals mx plus b. So you have an m, you have a b, and you have a point. You just need 2 of the 3. You just need 2 out of 3 to solve. Hand method. Every time. We could have solved the equation for m as well. And you can go fraction or decimals. It doesn't matter to me. If you're really uncomfortable with that fraction work, you kind of forgot that elementary math fraction work, and you just want to go decimals on that, that's totally fine. I prefer that you say fraction, but if you just can't handle it, that's fine. Okay, group. So your homework for tonight then is to do the rest of page 23 and 24. Our plan for tomorrow is we'll review this again, make sure we're in good shape. Again, so homework for tonight is to do page 23 and 24 due tomorrow. Have a fabulous night, 8th grade. Sorry. Have a fabulous night, 8th grade.